Hello everyone, this is R.S. Miller at theendtimenews.org, and today is January 14th, 2014. According to the EU Times, war between China, the US, and Japan is just weeks away. An urgent report issued on the 13th of January to the Russian General Staff from the highly secretive Deputy Defense Minister General Pavel Popov warns that war can be expected to erupt between the Pacific powers of the United States, the People's Republic of China, and the state of Japan within weeks, due to a power struggle currently exploding within the Communist Party of China. The report states that the recent decision by Chinese leader Xi Jinping to prosecute retired security czar Zhou Yongkang's son Zhou Ben for corruption is the leading impetus that has led to a fracturing of loyalties in the People's Liberation Army between those advocating immediate strikes against Japan and those cautioning a more strategic and diplomatic course of action in a number of territorial disputes between the two nations. General Popov warned the General Staff that Chinese military forces still loyal to the former security minister are now planning deliberate and provocative actions against Japan and threatening military force against the Philippines in order to start a Pacific war they believe will unseat President Xi Jinping. One such provocation was against the United States by the People's Liberation Army forces loyal to Zhou Yongkang. General Popov cited in his report that on December 5, 2013, a confrontation in the South China Sea between Chinese and U.S. naval warships nearly led to a military conflict. He also noted that President Xi Jinping was unaware of the incident until the U.S. State Department launched official protest against China. General Popov goes on to warn that even though the United States military remains the most fearsome fighting force, unbeatable on a one-on-one basis, it could very well find itself in a protracted war that could end in nuclear Armageddon. Meanwhile, the Japanese government is conducting military drills in the South China Sea amid growing tensions. According to RT, Japanese paratroopers recaptured an island from an enemy in a war game as its defense minister vowed to defend a disputed East China Sea territory. China's ships sailed near the contested islets as Beijing reportedly expanded its air defense zone. Tokyo's military on Sunday had held a military drill dubbed Island Defense, in which the country's elite airborne troops simulated the retaking of a remote island from an enemy nation. The plot for the annual drill, which took place at an exercise field east of Tokyo, stayed the same for the second year in a row, as the dispute over the group of tiny islands in the East China Sea claimed by China, Taiwan, and Japan showed no signs of resolution. Japanese Defense Minister Itsunori Onodera, who was overseeing the drills, vowed to protect the territory around the islands, which Japan considers to be its own. We can never overlook China's repeated entries into our territorial waters. In addition to diplomatic efforts, we will cooperate with the Coast Guard to securely defend our territory and waters around the Senkaku Islands, Onodera said. In Luke chapter 21, concerning the last days, Jesus was asked what signs would precede his return. He said, "But when you hear of wars and commotions, do not be terrified, for these things must come to pass first, but the end will not come immediately." Then he said to them, "Nation will rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there will be great earthquakes in various places, and famines and pestilences, and there will be fearful sights and great signs from heaven." And in verse 25 he says, "And there will be signs in the sun, in the moon, and in the stars, and on the earth, distress of nations with perplexity, the sea and the waves roaring, men's hearts failing them for fear and the expectation of those things which are coming on the earth, for the powers of heaven will be shaken. Then they will see the Son of Man coming in a cloud with power and great glory. Now when these things begin to happen, look up and lift up your heads, because your redemption draws near. Friends, these are indeed the last days. Bible prophecy is being fulfilled right before our eyes. Although I can't say exactly when the conclusion of these things will be, I do know that it is very near, even at the doors. Are you saved? Follow the link in the box below and pray the prayer of salvation with a sincere heart, and you will be saved. May God bless you.